I'm tired, a bit seasick, and I've been sailing through the entire night on my solar-powered yacht. Obviously, there hasn't been any sun, and I've been kind of rolling in these huge waves, but now, finally, I have crossed the opening between Åland and Sweden. The waves have been 1.2 meters from the side, and the ride has been fairly smooth. To catch the best weather window with some wind coming from the back getting me forward, I only had 35% charge in my batteries when I left, and all the days after this one will also be cloudy, rainy, so I better take advantage of some wind. This Solar Explorer yacht is not intended for the Nordic winter, and I'm never gonna come back here with this. I'm sailing to the Mediterranean, and luckily now in the city in front of me I've ordered a charger so I can go to marinas and charge up fully. It's gonna be much easier to get to the south. Now the large waves have ended as I find myself sheltered behind these islands. It feels amazing to have made it so far. Now the boat is field tested through rough conditions, but still needs a bit more rougher conditions before I'm gonna head out to the Atlantic Ocean. But this was a good test. In the middle of the darkness I had 1.3 meter waves and some cross waves as well. Due to accidentally getting double-sided solar panels that added 30 kilograms on the top of the roof, I think the boat is slightly too rolling in the waves, and that can be fixed by changing the panels, also increasing the amount of food and water I have stored under the waterline. A couple rays of sunlight bless this moment as they shine through the clouds. It was truly a heroic journey. It was slightly stupid, but also very important. To be honest, sailing through the night here in winter was the scariest thing I ever done. I think a bit foolish, but the results are glorious. Because now I'm the hero. There's a bit of rays coming once in a while through the clouds, actually charging up the boat a bit, and I'm steadily making my way toward the harbor where I've ordered a charger. With this I can charge up overnight when spending time at marinas. Funnily enough, the charger is just 250 watts, intended for electric bikes. If I spend the night and some time in the marina, I'll charge up 2.5 kilowatts to 4 kilowatts easily, and that is very significant. The total battery capacity is roughly 14 kilowatts. I'll really cut through the waves and it's fairly stable. However, it's a bit top heavy, or the center of balance could be slightly lower. Right now it is already at a very high standard. It's self-righting, so you could toss it upside down and it would flip back to its original position. However, because it doesn't have a deep keel or very heavy build, it tends to roll quite a lot in the waves. That is not so comfortable, and also it makes the boat slower. So the improvement I could make before heading out to the Atlantic would be to replace my roof solar panels with something slightly lighter. These panels were accidentally bifacial, so it means they're roughly 25 kilos heavier. If I could take that 25 kilo away and put it under the waterline, it would be a huge difference. And then on top of that, adding, let's say, 30 kilos of food and water, and maybe a heavy electric scooter to just add ballast while still keeping the boat relatively light. Every kilo added under the waterline is quite significant, because the entire weight of the yacht, right now with me included, all the equipment included, is roughly 1.1 ton. And if I wanted to make this super stable, I could also add another one of my Pylontech 4.8 kilowatt batteries. Currently I have 3, so adding one would increase the performance significantly and add 38 kilos at the absolute bottom of the hull. If I did that, I could also switch to flexible light solar panels on the roof to take away 150 kilos from the roof. They aren't as efficient, but the boat would become lighter, so that would then again improve efficiency. It's all about finding that balance, and the flexible panels are quite shit when it's cloudy and rainy, but when it's sunlight they definitely live up to a good reputation, so it is a possibility I have to consider. And the boat is parked here safely, and we're actually getting some sunlight. I'm gonna go take a look at how much power we're generating currently. Let's remove the night lights. They're blocking the sunlight. That's why it's so simple, so I can throw it in when it's not needed. Finally, I'm anchored at this beautiful natural bay. What I love about the Helios 11 prototype so far is the incredibly low draft. Right now, as I lifted up the engine, the draft is roughly 30 centimeters, so I can almost drive anywhere and definitely anchor anywhere. Additionally, I've been able to increase my travel speed by taking these difficult and normally dangerous shortcuts, but because it's enough that I don't see a rock, I can just drive wherever I want to. And I do have a very reliable navigator as well, and this makes the yacht even faster than normal sailing vessels that have a very deep draft usually. Also, as there's no need to raise your sails, you start your journey immediately when you raise anchor. So you also save like 10-15 minutes in that way. That's gonna be super significant on shorter journeys between islands. Now we're at the third mission log of the sea trials of Helios 11. I want to share some things that I would improve on this yacht if I built it again. As a matter of fact, I can improve these very quickly on this particular boat. First of all, I would make a tactical increase in ballast by adding another battery. That would increase the capacity by 4.8 kilowatts, as well as increasing the mass below the waterline by 38 kilograms. And that would also allow me to improve the engine to a roughly 8 or 10 kilowatt. 12 kilowatts could be cool to get that high speed, but I think we need to wait like 2 or 3 years for slightly improved panels to make that sustainable long term. The third thing I would improve is to make the cabin slightly lower. It's actually roughly 5 centimeters too luxurious for my height, and of course I'm the one who's gonna be using this primarily. Women are short and most of my friends are roughly the same height, so there's no need to have a higher ceiling. It makes the performance lower. Imagine bringing the mass of all these solar panels 5 centimeters down and at the same time reducing the wind draft area. That would be a great improvement. And the last one would also be to change the arrangement of solar panels. So now you see I have one single flat roof. Instead I would make a split of 3, so I can have 3 arrays of panels going on the top of the roof, and the 2 side panels would be fitted on movable hinges, so I could greatly improve the solar input whenever needed. This would also make the yacht a bit lighter and smaller on the most important areas. This corner here is as high as the roof here in the middle, so it would reduce the windage and overall make the yacht feel more aesthetic. However, it will increase the amount of work and complexity because you really have to have strong mechanisms to support all the panels moving and being strong enough to endure heavy winds. Look at that, we got some beautiful sunlight coming in, charging the batteries. Let's take a look at the charge input right now in the Nordic winter. Sun is very low and barely peeking through the clouds. I had a long nap while the batteries were charging. I feel so much better now, and we have approximately 25% charge, which is gonna be enough for tomorrow's short journey. Now let's go take a look at this island and hop on to my little dinghy. Even this dinghy is part of the Yacht's ultra lightweight design. I'm looking forward to the next models of the Helios 15, and then we're gonna have this proper well-made lightweight dinghy that also has a pretty strong electric engine that you can charge, of course, on the yacht, and with it you can travel 10 knots. That's something to have a lot of fun with, and as well it would be useful in certain situations. Now I'm gonna take a look at this island and go through some final details for this mission log. Looking at the aesthetics of the boat from this angle, I realized that I tried to optimize the solar area too much, particularly the front deck. So I made the front window not as angled as I wanted to. It's sort of a stubby look right now, and maybe I got 50 watts extra. Instead, I could have made a more sleek window profile and put some panels on the top part of the window, because you don't need to look up when you're driving a boat. You just need to see the horizon and the water in front of you. And if you take a look at the initial sketches of this yacht, you can see that the bow would have been straight, and that brings this elite aesthetic, looks much more powerful. Unfortunately, I couldn't achieve that as I had to bend the plywood. I tried to do my best, but it wouldn't bend into shape. It looks decent right now, but the next model will have a straight bow that, in addition of just looking better, it will actually increase the waterline length of the yacht, potentially increasing the hull speed, the top speed, and as well cutting through waves more easily as long as it's super sharp. Today I made my brave journey from Åland Islands to the archipelago of Sweden. I'm situated at the most outer islands, and now I'm heading south tomorrow. Every day will be warmer, every day will have more sunlight. Subscribe to stay tuned for mission log 4 of the Helios 11 solar powered Explorer yacht. And as always, don't forget to get out there.